Hello everyone and welcome to another high-elo game of Age of Empires. Today, I've said it before and I'll say it again. It always surprises me how fast the weekend absolutely disappears in the blink of an eye. But luckily, being Sunday, we still are in the weekend as we sit down to watch MbL playing as the Gurjaras in red take on Mr. Yo playing as the Vietnamese in blue. Now all the players heard their herdables explore their immediate surroundings and try to get their butts up to Feudal Age ASAP. Why don't we take a look at the Civ matchup we'll be watching today? Now, the Gurjaras are a Civ that focuses on man's other four-legged best friends, horses, camels, and elephants. Their camels, their elephants are both created 25% faster. All of their mounted units get extra bonus damage as the game goes on, all the way up to 40% more bonus damage in Imperial. I'll explain why these goats are disappearing into the mill in a second. Their camel line units, their elephant archers can be upgraded to make them much harder to kill with a +4 melee armor boost. And their first unique unit, the Shrevamsha Rider, may just be the straw that breaks the Vietnamese back. It is a super fast, versatile cavalry unit that can actually dodge enemy projectiles, which when you're playing against an archer civilization like the Vietnamese, I'm hoping / assuming we're going to see some Shrevamshas. Now, in order to support your mounted units against annoying things like pikemen, halberdiers, any kind of infantry whatsoever, the Gurjaras can field a second unique unit, the Chakram Thrower. This is an infantry unit with a ranged melee attack who throws discs like Xena Warrior Princess. And just like her discs, the one thrown by the Chakram can hit multiple targets at once. Man, I thought the deer were stubborn. Gazelle for the beer. Oh my god, I was gonna say the gazelle comes along and says hold my beer, then I thought, okay, I'll say for the win, and then I said for the beer, because of course my brain mashed up those two sayings. Now for the Gurjaras, to help them build up their military industrial complex, you'll have noticed in the beginning of the game they do start with 2 free berry bushes underneath their town center. They can garrison their livestock, which is why you'll see 8 of the herdables inside the mill. When take a look at the top left of your screen, the food count will go up a unit, up a unit, up a unit, as long as these livestock are still garrisoned inside the mill. And the Gurjaras can upgrade their entire military industrial complex so that all of their military units cost 25% less food. Will he succeed in pulling? No, my goodness. What is going on? Elephant gets pulled. Sees a few berries that he likes, perhaps some hallucinogenic berries, eats them stunned. He stands there, not knowing what to do, finally falls. Yeah, he does. The gazelle still being pushed. So, always fun to see these kinds of things happening in Age of Empires. Let's take a look at the other player in this game who is also pushing the stubborn gazelle. We've got Mr. Yo playing as the Vietnamese, as I mentioned, an archer civilization with access to 2 cool, unique archer units. The first is the Rattan Archer. This is the second fastest foot archer in the game, and one that comes with a decent attack and a massive amount of pierce armor. Think Huskarl with a bow and arrow, making it very hard for other archer units to kill. The second is their Imperial Skirmisher, a better armored version of the already cool Elite Skirmisher that comes with a higher attack and bonus against foot archers and cav archers. Now, if that's still not enough archer for you, not enough ranged units, oh man, I love why. I don't know if I'm the only one. I don't know if I'm annoying people as I go through my Civ introductions and I focus in on these gazelles. I don't really care. I love these little wonky things like deer, gazelle, etc. Anyway, if that's not enough archer for you, every single unit that comes out of a Vietnamese archery range automatically comes with 20% more HP. Now, to support these ranged units on the field of battle, Vietnamese battle elephants can be upgraded to get a massive 100 extra HP, and once they hit Imperial, they do get conscription automatically and free of charge, which means their military industrial complex is roided up right when they hit Imp. Now, to afford the cost of training their ranged units, their battle elephants, all Vietnamese economic technologies cost 0 wood and are researched twice as fast as normal. And their lumberjacks, these ladies and gentlemen, can be upgraded to generate a small trickle of gold while they cut down their trees. Now, lastly, unlike other civilizations that have features, bonuses, characteristics designed to help them protect against raids, let's take a look at the Vietnamese line of sight. You'll notice something on the minimap. The Vietnamese know exactly where their opponents start on the map, making their raids a lot more efficient, even though Mr. Yo doing a bit of an S Club 7 shape loop-de-loop here. he knows exactly where his opponent is, because that is just one of the cool features of the Vietnamese. Both players 18 villagers a pop, both players literally about to hit Feudal Age as I slowly but surely finish this sentence. They both hit it at the exact same mark off the back of the exact same villagers. They both got loom, I'm assuming. Yeah, they did. Good time for us to take a look at where the resources are, see if anyone can push into anything, what's exposed, what's not exposed. Primary gold for our Gurjara, nice and secure to the back. Primary stone, a little bit off to the side in the kind of, but not really forward position. Extra resources off to the left, additional patch of gold to the right. So not a terrible spawn here for MbL, who, by the way, also has 3 forests in a nice shape here, making this a pretty easy base to wall off. Does this reach the edge of the map? Yes, it does. So he is now secure on his eastern front, secure on his western front. The forward position is slowly getting walled off as well. We'll see if he does a complete wall off, goes full Howard Hughes, or whether or not he decides to create a funnel. Ooh, I really want to take a look at Mr. Yo's base, but I really don't want to miss a potential kill here. Let's zoom out just a little bit, even though I hate doing this. Primary gold for our Vietnamese, very exposed to the front. And yeah, that weak scout did bite the dust. The camel raking up the first kill of the game. The John Rambo camel. Now let's take a look. Primary gold, very exposed to the front. Primary stone. I heard a battle. Okay, so now it's tit for tat, 1 unit apiece, and I don't know that MbL really wants to engage into a, even small as it is, 2 spearmen with your weak Feudal Age cavalry units may not want to engage into that. Primary stone, not really center or middle or back, but away from the battle, away from the direct line of attack, so pretty safe. Additional gold as well, additional gold off to the side right next to some extra stone, where his forests, not as good as MbL's. Not as good as MbL's, not gonna lie, but his forward position is already being walled off. Surprised that Mr. Yo has not started any kind of walling off construction project. He's never really one to shy away from that as he pushes into the Gurjara base. I'm really curious to see how Mr. Yo is going to handle this, because on paper, the Gurjaras are about as good a counter civilization as the Incas, in my opinion. Maybe even a little bit more of powerful counter civilization, since they at least have a access to a stable, whereas the Incas don't. But I mean, you can never really write off the Vietnamese. Their economy, they were last place, which if you've been watching my videos, you know I have no idea why the Vietnamese were in last place in terms of win rates. Does this go all the way to the edge of the map? Damn you, elevation in Age of Empires, making it hard. It looks like not here, but here. But if it's not here, then it certainly can't be here. That's not how this game works. We'll see if Mr. Yo creates another little wall off there. It looks like he managed to lose a villager, rather, not another villager, but making MbL pay the price. He does lose 80 food worth of scouts. So as I was saying, it's going to be interesting for me to see how Mr. Yo handles the Vietnamese. Whether or not we're going to see clumps of archers running amok around the map. So, okay, so it's obviously not going all the way to the edge of the map. Whoa, this is a lot. I mean, usually they moonwalk for like a second. That was a full 5-6 seconds that you had to hear me my way through a Michael Jackson song. That was pretty cool to catch. But again, main point, I don't think this is walled off. I really don't think this is walled off. Or maybe it is. Here to the back, it definitely looks like it is, but then the elevation part doesn't. Anyway, I'm gonna shut up about the elevation. Enough about the elevation. Let's see what's going on around the map, because in typical Mr. Yo fashion, at the 15-minute mark of the game, we've already got multiple scuffles around. Okay, he's got the more powerful unit here with the archer, and remember, not 30 HP on this archer, but 20% extra. Think Vikings and infantry. That's what the Vietnamese and archer units are. I should say Vikings and infantry, Franks and cavalry. Vietnamese and archers, everyone's getting 20%. They went to Oprah's show, they looked underneath their chair, and everyone got 20% more HP as he now pushes in and kills our 3 apiece. But MbL, our Gurjara, has killed 2 villagers. Ooh, not paying attention, not carrying one of those. He loses his last 2, what do I want to call them? Penetrative units there that are just hanging out in the back of Mr. Yo's base. And now Mr. Yo's putting on a good amount of aggression. It looks like he wanted to destroy this palisade. MbL walled that off. Now he's going after this palisade. What is MbL's response? Where is his armed army. Skirmishers are moving forward. They should do pretty damn well against this army if they even engage. I'm assuming once Mr. Yo sees this, he's just going to run away. Does not want to lose. Oh, look at that. One volley, almost enough. And MbL so cocksure that his army can beat Mr. Yo's. Deletes the very palisade they were fighting over. Deletes another one. And now he's going to chase this army the hell away. Why the hell not? He's got the counter unit. Doesn't see any cavalry. Although there is a blue dot in the middle of the map right next to whatever the hell this is. Some kind of ancient tomb. Do not open any sarcophagus that you find in there. You will unleash some kind of ancient curse as Mr. Yo's archers get yet another mounted Gurjara unit. So for all the talk of Gurjaras having, you know, extra bonus attacks on their mounted units, camels and cavalry against monks and so forth, he is losing a lot of his mounted units to the point where he doesn't have any of them left. And now the meat shield of the one spearman is gone, which means he's got to be careful here, MbL. He's got one spearman. It is being targeted by Mr. Yo because he knows the second that spearman is gone, these skirmishers are all dead. MbL, though. He is not stopping. Abusing the weakness of this Feudal Age scout to maneuver his skirmishers around. Oh, loses another spearman. What is the game plan here for MbL? Is this a holding position? Has he completed the wall off? Is he training? No, he's just going more skirmishers. I thought maybe behind this, he's building the economy. He's definitely wasting a lot of time and a micro for both himself and Mr. Yo. And he is ahead 4 villagers. He's down, actually not down anymore. Now he's evened up the army count. And once he gets rid of this scout, all of a sudden the tables have turned yet again. And it is Mr. Yo who, for the second time, has to get the hell out of here. Man, Feudal Age battles are just so... What's the word I'm looking for? There must be a word that I'm missing that that's not coming to mind right now, where it's the stakes are not exactly the highest, but the skill level required is quite high. There must be a word for it. The closest analogy I can think of is when I was 8 or 9 years old and playing chess, and I would get super duper angry when I lost against my brother who is 3 years older than me and always was a better chess player. And the stakes were super duper low, but I was so upset if I lost, being a little baby that I was, and still am in many regards. Tinkle, tinkle, go the spearman. Oh, MbL disengages. Not gonna let us see which one of these dies. I love the mobility of Mr. Yo. This is definitely one way to make sure the Gurjaras don't steamroll you with some kind of death ball, is have 3 different fronts. One here, one here, one here. And like all Mr. Yo games, the only person I feel sorry for here is myself. Oh no, oh no. He just now discovers that there is no exit. I feel sorry for myself and my neck. Looks like those spearmen finally caught each other to the, what do we want to say, west of Mr. Yo's base, and it looks like Mr. Yo's spearmen won that battle. Mr. Yo with the multi-pronged attacks is now getting bodkin for his archers. Doesn't have the gold for much else. But you know what? As long as the skirmishers chase the archers, as long as they miss, this one scout is going to have an absolute field day until the presence of the counter unit makes itself felt, and more archers. Big surprise there. They're going to be crossbows. You take a look at their HP. Should jump from 35 to 42. Yep. Extra 20% HP, always valuable, means your opponent has to attack you one extra time for the most part to kill you, which does give you a lot more time to fire back and kill. And there we go, Mr. Yo carving up what looks like a 1/6 of the map in a nice, very aesthetically pleasing rectangle shape. I'm trying to teach my son shapes now. Circle, triangle, all that jazz. I should show him this game with Mr. Yo's rectangle shaped base as he tries to bust in yet again. He has gone up to 3 town centers. One next to the stone, one OG, one next to the gold. Not a bad location. Our Gurjara, decent location as well. Gold and wood, lots of space for farms. Army counts almost identical. Our Gurjara's ahead a little bit. Villager count also almost identical. Our Gurjara ahead a little bit as well. 10% in both regards. But he's got the camel out. We'll see how they do against some Feudal Age spearmen. They do very well. The spearman didn't even poke. He didn't even prod. He just died. And here we go, spaying and neutering the wildlife population is Mr. Yo's little expeditionary force here. What does he have? 12 crossbows, a knight. He's getting a monk, no doubt, to start gathering relics. He does secure, by the way, one relic inside of his base. In typical Mr. Yo fashion. Monk enough to shoo away these camels for a while until the skirmishers shoo the monk away. So we're yet again finding ourselves in a battle of balance here where one player tries to bust into his opponent's base while the other player tries to bust into his base. In terms of busting in, I think probably Mr. Yo is going to be the first since he's attacking a palisade compared to a 900 HP house. We'll see what he actually decides to do. For now, he's continuing to attack palisades. There's a MbL very slowly moving forward. Will he see it? Will it be too late? Oh, what an absolute terrible shot by the MbL. Second volley, also terrible. Now the knight closes in. The villager tries to repair, but fails. What a missed opportunity. And did he realize that this isn't walled off and then he moved in here? Or is there a palisade behind here? Okay, so MbL not able to find any way to get into that base. That was very sour for him to lose that MbL for nothing. Although I guess in exchange for that knight. In the grand scheme of things, these 12 crossbows have to get the hell out of here. Perhaps going to be sandwiched in a second. Our Gurjara has elite skirmishers. What are the upgrades on them? +2 is not bad at all. Another knight moves forward, but there's a whole bunch of camels. A lot of positioning here. I feel like we're in Feudal Age again. But with a few stronger units as the armies converge in the desert. Camels trying to avoid crossbows. Skirmishers trying to attack crossbows. Camels want to defend the skirmishers from these knights. Everyone wants to close on their unit of choice. It's like a dating app. Person A wants to be with person B. Person B wants person C. Person C wants person D. Person D will take anyone he can. Which is the knight. The knight will close on anyone. Oh, maybe not against the camel. So person D wants A and B, but not C. And an absolute tango of death ensues where, what's the kill count? 29 to 27. Not terrible. Although we are half an hour into the game. I'm wondering if the players are just going to rush up to Imperial. They both have 800 gold. I really want to look at their bases to see what kind of structures they have. We see Mr. Yo placing a castle in a kind of, but not really aggressive position, just south of his base's perimeter. We know that our Gurjara has a mangonel and a monk, which means he's got the siege workshop and the monastery needed to go up to Imperial. Mr. Yo, we know he's got a mangonel and a monk as well, and also will have a castle any second now. So they're both at the prerequisite structure count, but they are not both yet at the required food count. Uh-oh. It's a Mr. Yo sandwich here between these skirmishers. How many crossbows will die? 2. 4. Oh my god, why 4? 3. 2 plus 1 is 3. 5, 6, 7. The camels are moving away. 8. But I think they can close in now. Now there's only 4 crossbows left. Wow, 12 crossbows will go down. Okay, I was going to say for nothing, but they do, at the end of it, do manage to pick off a camel. And now MbL realizes, uh-oh, wait a second, there's a castle here. Next to this dilapidated pyramid with the cursed mummy inside. I should back away. Oh, never mind. Sister castle going up for him. That was a very sour loss, if I didn't make that clear, for Mr. Yo. A dozen crossbow units is a pretty sour loss for the Vietnamese. As though that's basically a dozen arbalests later on in the game if he wants, that he just does not have anymore. He is, though, going ahead to the next age about 30 or about 40 seconds ahead of his opponent. Good time for us to take a look at what's going on around the map as MbL. Who's going to notice what first? Okay. MbL notices right as the last surviving skirmisher exits stage left. So he's still up on his OG 3 town centers, is Mr. Yo. And now we're going rattan archers. They've got 6 pierce armor. Don't let that fool you. If we're lucky enough to see them go up to elite, that will jump up to a 10 pierce armor, which is Huskarl level, Incan Eagle Warrior level. And they also are not too shabby. Like I said, second fastest archer unit in the game after the plumed archer. Another aggressive castle here by Mr. Yo. I don't think he realized that there was a Gurjara castle here. Our Gurjara is heading up to 40 seconds away, which means our Vietnamese should be hitting it any second. He does. Our Gurjara is going archers? I mean, you've seen your opponents going archer units, right? Why are you not building stables for Shrivamshas? Does he have a stable? No, he does not. No, yeah, sorry, the original one that he built in Feudal Age. Okay, both players are in Imperial. Let's go. We've got a Gurjara incursion to the back of the Vietnamese base, a Gurjara siege to the west of the Vietnamese base. In the center, castles are facing off. I'm assuming we're going to see trebs out of both players. Another 5th town center for our Gurjara. MbL is just absolutely taking risks all over the map, and there are the stables. And this is exactly what I was feeling sorry for myself for. Now there's probably going to be 10 theaters of war. A mass exodus of lumberjacks, it looks like. Where are all these villagers going? You guys are going to stone. You've got 472, Mr. Yo. You just need 180 more. 3 trebs, but they're on the low ground, which means the castle has a little bit more longevity to his life. It looks like the camels to the back of the Vietnamese base are under attack. What do we want to see? Oh, rattans taking out camels or a mangonel taking out skirmishers. Let's stick to the rattans. They attack on a 9. They've got +2 armor. The camel is still just a camel unit. I guess it does go to the edge of the map. Otherwise, MbL would have escaped by now. So there you go. The optical illusion that is Age of Empires, where you think there's a tile here, but nuh-uh, there actually isn't. And the incursion gets cleaned up, as so does the siege to the west here. It looks like the mangonel did ultimately bite the dust. Even with skirmishers, if you outnumber the mangonel 10-1, you are still going to win unless you're just not paying attention. And the mangonel is absolutely destroying you now. Like the composite bowman that does well against skirmishers, surprisingly well against skirmishers, the rattan archers will also do well against skirmishers, not because they pack a punch. I think I've mentioned how there's a lot of civs, or rather a lot of units, that you think on paper the skirmishers do well against, like the Conquistador, for example. But because that unit packs such a punch, the skirmisher dies a lot quicker than it really should. The rattan is the exact opposite. This unit survives because it has now 8, and if we're lucky enough to see elite, like I said, 10 pierce armor, which means the skirmisher basically just does bonus damage, which is 4 for a unit that has 40 HP. So 10 skirmishers needed to kill 1 rattan archer. By the way, MbL's castle is down. He is exacting a toll on the Vietnamese army, having gotten a bunch of villagers, rattan archers, and a treb. Oh, please tell me this is for elephants. Please tell me this is for elephants and the players disengage from one another. We've got a bit of an north-south situation developing. 2 trebs are here. Gunpowder for both, it seems like. Bombard cannons. 1 for our Vietnamese. Our Gurjara is going up to 3. And he's also placed his infrastructure in a very forward position here. Army count, our Gurjara is significantly ahead, but out of 33 army count, 27 is skirmishers. Wow, that is, what is that, 80%? That is just ridiculous. Now, in a battle of long-range siege, I don't know that our Gurjara is going to be able to stand toe-to-toe with the Vietnamese. If I'm not mistaken, the Gurjaras do not get, siege engineers. Which means their bombards are capped at 12 to the 13 of the Vietnamese. Although our Vietnamese doesn't have siege engineers either. So for now, 2 trebs bite the dust. And the players disengage yet again. So Mr. Yo is expanding kind of center west. MbL is expanding pure east. So we're going to have multiple theaters of war here. And this is exactly, you know what? This is exactly what Mr. Yo needs to do. When you're facing a civilization that counters every move you can make, and I say that with an asterisk because in Age of Empires, even with a counter civilization, you still can make moves. You can hustle and bustle here and there and make moves. But you need to decentralize your attack, and uh-oh, there's a gap in here. By the way, look at the populations. Our Gurjara for a second was at 200. Our Vietnamese is not even at 160 yet, so he's down almost 30, 40 total supply. Villager counts are healthy for both. It might be that our Gurjara has a little bit too many villagers. A few too many villagers, I should say. But he's going to start sieging the castle here to the right with these 3 treb balls. Should fall. 1, 2, 3. Yep, it does, especially with, okay, 5 bombard cannons. And there's the Shrevamsha. There's that beautiful unit that moves lightning fast, 1.76 tiles per second. Oh, no. Oh, okay. I mean, oh, no for MbL. Oh, yes for Mr. Yo as he catches a whole chain of villagers moving south. So let's see what's going on around the map because I'm seeing little flare-ups. We've got a scout attacking a house. Okay. I guess you know you're playing against MbL and historically has been dealing with housing issues. Then a castle has destroyed the town center. Now there's a treb laying siege to the very center of the Gurjara base. A whole bunch of Rattans are here to keep everyone away. There is a Mangonel, though, to the center. Our Gurjara, this is where he wants to push. He wants to get rid of Mr. Yo's center position. If he can get rid of these 2 castles, all of a sudden, 5 stables, siege workshop are gone. And then all of a sudden, all of Mr. Yo's infrastructure is in jeopardy. So this is not the moment where you need to attack a monastery. Although, you know what? Laming relic gold gathering for your opponent is not bad either. And now I'm assuming he's going to go after this castle. The Rattans, we've got a single Shrevamsha rider. I believe the base model dodges 5 arrows. They are moving ridiculously slowly. Look how fast it moves now. And it's going straight for the bombard. Not exactly the hardest hitting of units, especially not with 0 attack upgrades. But look at him dodging all of these arrows. And oh, I'm glad we caught that. We caught a Vietnamese pancake. 2 kills for you, 6 kills for you. Skirmishers adding as much damage as they possibly can. But Mr. Yo replies to the center of the map. He cannot lose this castle. If he loses this castle, his infrastructure is in trouble. Okay, he's picking off these BBCs. Look at his army. Look at MbL's army to the top left of your screen. It's so diverse. So, what I wanted to say large, but it's not really large in quantity, but it needs 2 rows. Shrevamsha's moving. I'm seeing a disc of a chakram thrower as well somewhere here. There you are. 1 chakram thrower added into the mix. Not too sure why. I don't think Mr. Yo has a single infantry unit. At the same time, those Shrevamshas, they're not the hardest hitting, like I said, but they're so fast. 5 villager kills for you. Now going to be 5 for you. 6 for you. Holy shit. If you haven't answered the question on my community page poll, community post page poll, that's a mouthful, about which is the best rating Hussar of the options that I provided, definitely go check out my community page after this. It's just another tab in my YouTube page, and answer the poll. Do it. I didn't mean for that to sound so like a command. Uh-oh. He's going to lose these 2 BBCs if he's not paying attention. Doesn't seem like he is. 1 volley, 2 volley, and a 3rd volley should get it. So Mr. Yo's castle is safe for now. By the way, that castle also lamed the gold and is now teefing the stone. So a triple purpose castle here for our Vietnamese. 2 random camels take a bit of a sabbatical. Shrevamsha still wants to destroy houses here. And this is exactly the problem now for Mr. Yo. His center infrastructure is exposed. MbL, though, he's going straight into the guts. Mr. Yo's villager count is down to 91. Holy shit, did those Shrevamshas do a number on his villager count? And now those 2 camels get activated, but with the castle up there, not too sure they're going to accomplish that much. Shrevamsha's closing on the BBC, and now they're going to close on these Rattans, but it took a while for them to close in on that bombard cannon, which means their dodge mechanic must be on cooldown, right? Oh no, it's heating up very quickly. The Rattans are running away. They're trying to desperately get to the last stronghold available to Mr. Yo here in the middle of enemy territory. They're going yet again straight after the bombard cannon. They get it! Softened up by the skirmishers, it finally does die to the Shravamshas, who need to be careful. I don't know if you got Kshatriyas. You definitely do need to get that upgrade if you're going to go Shravamsha Rider. They are not a cheap food unit. 70 food they cost, unless you have Kshatriyas, and then they cost 25% less. This infrastructure needs to be destroyed. The second this is destroyed, I think Mr. Yo is going to call GG. Okay. Or maybe not. Maybe the second this is destroyed, he'll call GG. I should have said, trying to make myself look real smart. Oh god, another bloodbath. Mr. Yo down to 89 villagers. His resources are not terrible. His resources are not bad at all, but what the hell do you do against this Shravamsha push? And man, the Gurjaras can be a pain in the ass if they want to. There's a lot of talk about Hussars raiding, Gabetos raiding, Karambits raiding. What the hell do you do against a unit that moves almost 2 tiles a second? Literally, this is 2 tiles. The Shravamsha moves from here to here in a second. Every other unit moves from here to here, or from here to here, or from here to here in a second. It moves this far, or whatever. You get my point. Very fast unit. So, of course, they had to nerf it somehow, giving it a very low attack, although base of an 11 is still good enough to kill villagers, especially with Iron Casting now. It attacks on a 13, and even though he has this castle still up, he doesn't have very much left. Not a lot of gas left in the tank. Mr. Yo is in the unenviable position of having to decide, okay, you're pushing into my economy here. Do I turn around to fight this with my little army, little as it is, dispersed all over the map as it is? Or do I just double down? Do I even build or train more villagers? Is the real question out of his one last town center. Or do I just give up and go full on military? And at this point, he doesn't have enough gold to put up a good military, a good army. But the problem for him is if that army dies, and not if it dies, but when it dies, because no army in Age of Empires ever lasts forever unless it's, 80 ballista elephants. When that army dies, he just won't have the resources to replenish it. So I think Mr. Yo sees a few steps ahead and realizes, though, even though he can fight back a little bit, ultimately MbL's dominant map control here is just going to win him the next, maybe not the second engagement, but definitely the third, the fourth, and so on. And Mr. Yo will be left with trash units against Shravamshas, and that's not going to work out to his benefit. 119 skirmishers, 98 rattan archers. Always cool to see this unit. PKPM for Mr. Yo, surprising not at the 10-second minute mark, but still very early on. Middle of the game for MbL as well. So PKPM for both in the low hundreds. The economy here, our Gurjara about 10%, a little over 10, maybe what is that, 11.5, 12% bigger economy. So not the end of the world in terms of economy. Relic gold the same. So where's the difference? A little bit more wood, a lot more food. Gold basically identical. Stone, holy shit. Why did our Vietnamese only have 4 castles? 1, 2, 3, 4. He probably should have had a lot more than that. Conversions 0. Buildings destroyed 24 to 16. Let's take a look at the kill count. Oop, didn't mean to do that. Our Gurjara has killed 230 Vietnamese units. 69 of them are villagers. So literally killing 3 times as many villagers as his opponent, who kills... Look, Mr. Yo did still manage to kill almost 200 units. But like I said, now you're losing even more. Now there's 6 more dead villagers here. Mr. Yo has enough resources to train a big army. Big with an asterisk. I'm talking maybe 10 units. 10 powerful units, but 10 units nonetheless. After that, it's all trash. But once that army dies in whatever engagement MbL, decides to take against it, then MbL's economy is going to take over, and he's got extra stone. He's going to get rid of that castle to the west and start mining this gold again the second he can. And he's got bombards, 5 bombards. Now they're all in the 4 of the 5 of them are in the forward position. He'll bring a bunch back, but I suspect Mr. Yo just realizes, yeah, sure, he can take an engagement here and there, but ultimately he just can't take a second, or if he does take the second, he can't take the third. And that's going to ultimately cost him the game, especially not with more and more raiding. He's going to be dropped to almost half the villager count of his opponent once his opponent's finishes raiding over here. And then The base cracked open, no more shelter for these villagers, and he sees the Shrivam. He must see the Shravamshans. Yeah, he sees them. And look at the hot trail of dust as they rush in. Oh man, are they hungry to kill some villagers. Yeah, these are all fresh new recruits. They are really antsy in the pantsy. They want to commit some atrocities here against these villagers. And I think Mysterio sees all of that, realizes that even though he's in a decent spot right now, resource-wise, there's just no longevity to his game, and so decides to live to fight another day, taps out, and it is MbL, our Gurjara, who takes the W, but GG to both players. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips and make sure to subscribe and enable notifications so that you're notified of my latest uploads.